Thank you so much for agreeing to be a part of this Digital Her project. To give you some background on it, it's sponsored by the Institute of Coding, whose ambition is to break down barriers to digital learning and employment more broadly. And then out of that, Digital Her seeks to inform and engage younger girls and women looking to start their careers, not sure what they possibly want to do. So through speaking to people like yourself to find out about your journey and career might give them a little bit of inspiration and information about the different roles in the digital and tech sector. Um,
Cool.
so, could you please introduce yourself first and tell us a bit about what it is you do right now?
Yes, okay. So my name is Georgia and I'm CEO of Tomelo. And it's my internet okay? Is it fine? Feels
Yeah, I
like
think it's okay. Mine's not
freezing there.
amazing either, but
Oh, I can go on my 3G if you need to, just tell me.
okay.
Um, yeah, so um, yeah, my name's Georgia and I'm the CEO of Tumelo, which is a financial technology company. And we basically build technology for sustainable investment. So we help individual people who have investments to see exactly what companies they own inside their funds or their investment portfolios, and also to have a say on environmental or social issues that are happening at the companies they own through their investments. So it's kind of basically trying to break down all the intermediation that exists in the investment industry and give normal people a voice on important stuff.
Cool. So could you outline some of the skills that you use the most in your role?
Oh, what a question. I guess facilitation is an important skill. So like holding meetings and making sure that the great people in my team have a voice and are heard, and that is then like put into practice. So facilitation is probably one. I also do a lot of sales. So I do a lot of kind of pretending like I know more about technology than I do and selling it to like large enterprises.
Yeah.
And I guess kind of coordination of people, making sure people are working on the right thing and like they know what the priorities are. So I set the kind of the vision and mission and strategy for the company, and then I communicate that. And then I guess also around people coordination, that also includes, you know, my responsibilities to build an amazing team. So I do quite a lot of recruitment,
Yeah.
and interviewing and onboarding and all of that stuff.
As I guess that comes with being CEO of a smaller company. You kind of have to have many hats on at the
Yeah,
same.
I do everything. Yeah.
It takes a wide range of skills.
Yeah.
So could you tell us a bit about how your journey began back in sort of school days? Were you always interested in tech or business?
I was always interested in sustainability.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, that's
Yeah.
something that's very clear. So I studied, I wanted to be a vet when I was at school, and then I studied like biodiversity and climate change and stuff at university, environmentalism, climate change type things. It was called natural sciences.
Yeah.
And then now I wasn't really interested in, I'm interested in business, obviously. My dad is a businessman, kind of. He puts up marquees. So he's definitely a businessman, but a very different type of businessman. He
Yeah.
like runs a tech company. And so I was always interested in like people management and working for myself.
Yeah.
But primarily my interest was in sustainability and in sustainable finance and how could we make the financial system more sustainable. And I did try doing that initially in like roles within organizations, and I was just a bit frustrated by kind of like pace of change, and I found the jobs a bit boring. Really nice people though, so I knew I wanted to work with really great people, like not on my own, but maybe somewhere that was a bit more innovative,
Yeah.
which like the asset management houses want. So yeah, that's why we started Tomelo really.
Yeah. Nice. Cool. Was there anything that inspired you to move into the tech sector? Why sustainability within tech?
Good question. Well, two things. One, my dad always said that I should do something scalable. because marquees are not very scalable. So that was like lesson number one. Tech is obviously very scalable, so it's a good thing to do. You can make a lot of money. And then I guess there's no other way really to do sustainable finance unless you're doing it through tech. I suppose you could be a consultant or something, but I think just the team that we had, like me and then my co-founder Ben, who was a software engineer, and Will, who was really interested in tech and like new investment systems, kind of just made sense that what we were going to build was a tech product. And we had seen problems. It was all about like, how could you get the masses engaged? And the only way to do that is, to have something scalable. So tech was kind of necessary.
Yeah, cool. Makes sense. So how did your sort of career journey start? Did you have much work experience before jumping into the buildings?
Yes. So I've done quite a lot of work experience. I've done quite a lot of varied work experience, but I've never spent any time actually working anywhere.
Yeah.
As an employee, really. So I have done lots with animals, which I'm not sure counts as work experience, but I wanted to be a vet, so I did lots of veterinary work experience, like in abattoirs and milking grounds and stuff. It was kind of irrelevant, but it teaches you about life, I guess. And then at university, I realized pretty quickly that I wanted to do finance, like sustainable finance. So I worked at 3 asset management, like 3 fund investment houses. I guess you call them asset management houses. Being an analyst, like an intern analyst during my summer. So I did that for like 4 or 8 weeks every summer. And actually the first summer got me into the second summer, and the second summer got me into the third summer, because I met like, people during those internships, which helped me do the internship next year, which was super useful. So I didn't have to like apply 3 separate times. Well, you have to apply, but you're already at the foot in the door. And then when I left university, I did a bit of venture capital. Again, I was an intern on a like green tech, clean tech venture capital desk. So investing in startups, but like bigger startups. And also did a bit of work for Fauna and Flora, who are an NGO. So did a couple of months there working on kind of business and biodiversity and sustainable business. And then I started Tomelo. So I had done lots of bits, but never actually like had a proper job, apart from some like sales jobs when I was younger. So
Cool. What sort of challenges have you come across along your journey, whether this be more personal challenges with being a woman in tech, or particularly a hard thing to get off the ground?
Challenges, working with difficult people. I mean, like on the whole, my co-founders are great, but they're also really difficult sometimes. And I'm sure they would say the same about me. So I'm happy to say that I laugh. So I think, like I love them and I love the team, but that's a real challenge. You're really in it together, then there's nothing you can do about it. And sometimes you've had enough. So that's been the most difficult times, have been when you felt like there's no going forward with these people. And then obviously you get there and it's fine, and then they're the best thing again. But that is a bit scary sometimes, and I think everyone experiences that when you start a company with other people, so that's not just us. And I mean, other challenges, fundraising is really hard. So for anyone who's starting a business where they need to raise money, like that's tiring and emotionally draining, but possible. So I made it through, that was fine. Probably have to do it again. So that's kind of a confidence challenge as well. When I first started, I was not confident. My co-founder was actually the CEO, and then it turned out actually I was better at some things that a CEO needs to be good at, like fundraising and pitching and that kind of stuff. But it just took me a long time to kind of find my feet and feel confident doing that. And I think that was maybe like a woman thing, I don't know.
Yeah, who knows, sometimes the blurred line. Sure. What is something that's particularly interesting that you've worked on throughout your career?
Well, I mean, I guess this is my career mostly, unless we're gonna start talking about which thing. So this is pretty interesting. I think like the most exciting part is the first sale, like the first big relationship, either with a customer, like a user, or a partner. Like I love it. I got an email yesterday from a user, a guy called Tim, who was just like, this product is great, like when can I use it, and this is why I want it, and these are all the reasons. And that's so nice to hear that, and hear that there's these like fanatics out there who are really appreciating the work that you're doing, and it kind of, you know why you're doing it, but it's nice to get that affirmation from users or from sales partners, or depends what type of business you have, but anyone who's going to give you that validation, that's a great feeling.
Yeah, for sure. Do you see any in the future, where do you see Tomelo going, or do you see yourself maybe branching out into something different, or do you want to continue building and learning about sustainable finance?
No, I think probably we're a product company, so the product's going to evolve, I imagine. They always do, depending on what users want and customers, but I think we'll do very similar thing for a long time. And maybe we'll get bought or list on the stock exchange, so the company ownership's going to look a bit different. But I'd like to stay working here for a long time. I think we've got a lot more impact to make, a lot more to do. So yeah, I can't imagine really doing anything different. God knows what I'd do if I wasn't at Tomelo. Like, I don't know. It's a scary thought.
It's kind of hard to envision sometimes, isn't it? But then,
what would I do? I don't know.
Yeah, well, your position right now.
Yeah, hopefully.
What's your favorite thing about working in the tech sector?
The people are really clever and driven and exciting.
Yeah.
I feel like, sometimes I talk to people not from the tech sector, and I'm like, oh, come on. Even our sales partners, I think because they're working with tech as well, they're like, they're hot off the press, they're excited about what they're doing. Also, I think that's sustainability as well.
Yeah.
People are really passionate, which really helps.
Yeah.
Even if it's not their full-time job to care about sustainability, if you bring them something that's tech and sustainability, like, couldn't really get more exciting for them. So that is like a really nice thing where you have lots of people that are very energized. So that's probably the best thing for me. So I don't like sleepy people. I like, want to get up and go. Other things in the tech sector, I guess, there's always more to learn. I feel like I have only scraped the surface. Like, I don't know very much about tech, to be honest. I know lots about sustainable finance and lots about our product, but it feels like there's so much more I could do. And I have this kind of impression that you can take tech so much further, and you could add AI to everything and make everything simple, and it just takes time. So I'm excited to see where we can take the product. I'm sure there's going to be limitations with tech, but it does feel a bit kind of boundless right now. We could, if we had the time and the money, we could do so much cool stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I guess that is a really exciting thing, and a unique thing perhaps about this industry is how quickly things move. You can almost never like settled in what you're doing, because
exactly, and things change so fast. But that's also scary because I don't know, but like if you're like I don't know, if you have built up a business and it's not tech centric, you really rely on relationships, and it's kind of hard for other people to do a similar thing, whereas in tech it kind of always feels like you need to move on to the next thing. There's competition right around the corner, or you just need as a clever kid in a garage to kind of build what you've got. I mean, it's definitely still about relationships. That stuff still stands, but I do feel like the pace of change is fast.
Yeah. Do you feel like collaboration is really important in what you do?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, we have sales partners, so like customers we sell to. And we collaborate with them because we want to understand what they need, and we want to build stuff that's going to help them solve problems. And we also speak to our users, who are kind of like, we go through the enterprises to get to users, and we collaborate with our users, I guess, because we're testing with them all the time and trying to understand what they need. But because we're in the sustainability space, we also have other collaborations. So there's lots of people in our sector who like are interested in tech, but maybe they're running campaigns, or like they're NGOs, there's lots of NGOs working in sustainable investment, and we can really help them, I think, to further their mission and to provide tools to help people execute on the things that they're asking for. For example, like lots of organizations will ask the government, can you please make pensions more sustainable? And government often will reply like, no, there's not the tools to do that. It doesn't, there's not enough tech. We don't have the right systems. And here we are saying, actually, here's a system that works. So we're kind of supporting a lot of NGOs in getting that message across, I hope, and that, or at least proving that what they're asking for is possible. So that's definitely quite an important collaboration for us. And also there are NGOs that have helped us. So I've done like the Finance Innovation Lab as kind of a fellowship program, and I've done 6 months with them, learning about purpose and how to instill purpose into your business model and all that kind of stuff. And they're an NGO, and we did that for free, basically, and that was super beneficial for us.
So I guess you work in like a cross section between finance and tech, which is commonly perceived quite a male-dominated space, both of them. What's your sort of perspective on how things are going in regards to diversity and inclusion? Do you have a positive experience of it, or do you think that we're not really doing nearly enough?
My experience is really positive. I mean, at the beginning maybe it's a bit harder. I've got my group of girls at home. Obviously feel more comfortable with them than maybe with businessmen when I'm in a room, but that said, you learn pretty quickly when that's the environment that you're in. It's definitely still male dominated, I'm not gonna lie, but again, especially in the sustainability space, there's a lot of women. A lot of people working in responsible, sustainable investment are women, and that is a female-dominated department where the rest of the department will be men. So I've definitely, we've won there. So I think I probably have more exposure to women than I would normally if I was just in finance and tech. Adding sustainability really changes that. And then maybe even the men working in sustainable finance are like a bit softer than you might expect your average like Wall Street finance person to be. So I think that the impression you maybe have if you think tech and finance isn't actually what I experience. So on the whole though, I think just generally in tech and generally in finance, people are really aware of the problem and therefore really supportive. There's lots of campaigns, there's lots of awards. We get shout outs all the time. I don't done anything special apart from be a woman, so that's obviously quite helpful if you look at it in a positive light. So yeah, I think I feel quite positive, and I think it'd be really a shame if women were scared to go into finance or scared to go into tech, because I think actually, when you get there, it's fine. It's not that scary, and we just need more people to go into it, and then it will be fine. It will be like no different than any other sector. So yeah, and we have also the impression of what you do in finance and what you do in tech is also different. Like we've got lots of people in our company who aren't software engineers, but they're still women in finance, in fintech. They do marketing or PR, or they do user research, or they do insights reporting, or they do design. There's a whole list of people who you don't have to be actually building the code to be in tech and to be in finance.
I feel like that's the thing that I found important whilst having these conversations, is like your perspective from the outside of what an industry looks like can be so wildly different to when you're actually in it and you're experiencing,
Yeah, because I guess you're women in tech as well, right? And it doesn't mean that's not right. But yeah, I think people do have that impression of women in tech, you must be a software engineer, and there's not very many of them. But no, most of my team are not software engineers, but we're all in tech.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's also I feel like there's a lot of opportunities to learn as well. I think that people on the whole are really keen, if you're a woman, at saying you're interested in something. I think there's a lot of people who will be really eager to help you, because people do want more.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like people are aware, they're proactive. When I guess it makes a difference. Like we don't have any female software engineers on our team right now, actually, but we have currently a software engineering team of like 4, so it's very small. But we have had female software engineers on our team, and we have really fought like tooth and nail to keep them. I know, that's a function of the fact that, there's not very many of them. They're hard to get onto the team in the first place. So you're really going to do everything you can to make it work, even when it doesn't feel likely for whatever reason. So I think it's definitely positive if you're a woman in tech. People are excited that you're there. And I mean, it's maybe not that different for someone in design or whatever, because there's plenty of women in design and tech, I think. But I still think that you can see it as an opportunity. Some people are sometimes annoyed, who people keep banging on that I'm a woman in tech, but I think it's for me definitely an opportunity. Yeah.
And I guess, well, hopefully one day we'll get to a stage where you don't need to do that anymore. But I think there's
yeah. Yeah, well, there'll be something else. I mean, there's already I think the conversation is shifting from gender to like ethnic minorities or other groups of people who like aren't currently represented in the tech sector, and I think it's about time that happened. There's been a lot of noise about women and not that much noise about other groups that need support, and hopefully the focus stays on lots of different things, and it's just not so singular. But I think there's always going to be challenge with these industries where it's really you need a leg up to get into them or whatever. Social mobility is obviously important, but I'm sure the focus will just change slightly, and hopefully it just becomes overall more inclusive.
And that is the struggle, is to make sure that you're intersectional as well as, and it's like when you're fighting a battle that has all good intentions, but you don't want to almost be hypocritical and then be not inclusive in what you're doing because you're not taking anything into consideration.
Yeah.
So lastly, what piece of advice would you give to a young girl or woman looking to start her career and thinking about tech?
Well, I would avoid giving advice and speak from my own experience, I guess. But I have really just not really regretted anything. I feel like there's no harm in just jumping in and not being afraid to kind of. We've had some people apply for roles who have clearly been fantastic and who haven't applied for a very specific role or something like that, but who are just really keen to get stuck in, and I think that's obviously admirable and they should be going for that. And that's the type of thing I would definitely, encourage doing. It's the type of thing we did, we didn't really know if we were going to do it or not. And then at some point we just raised money and we're like, okay, well, we have to do this now. And it turned out to be a fantastic idea. So I think, just getting stuck in, and that's something that I've never regretted. And then even if it doesn't work, at least you tried hard and you probably learned a lot from it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's technically a win-win.
Yeah, well, exactly. I always said that. Like if Tomelo didn't work, I mean, it's going to work now. I don't have any fear of that. But there was a solid year where I was thinking, am I wasting my time? And but there was no way I was wasting my time, because even if it hadn't have worked, I would have learned how to incorporate a company, how to manage people, how to recruit, how to do accounts, like, I don't know, a million things that are super useful. So they would have stood me in really good stead to do almost anything else. And we've got people on our team who don't know what they want to do, but they're really excited about exploring different avenues. And I think tech's a really good place to do that, because things move so quickly. You can move around quickly.
Yeah. That's the only way you can learn, is by trying it out, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you so much for talking to me today. It was really useful. And to jump in. Yeah. Cool. Well, yeah.
Great. Well, thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much.